one is number 7, which is task number 4. Create a simple line chart, right? So line chart. Okay, so a line chart is basically used to show us information that changes over time, right? And in this exercise, we'll try to build a line chart, or we'll try to create a line chart of sales versus order month, right? I know we'll be working with like discrete and continuous aggregates. So I try to explain what those two different aggregates means, especially since we're dealing with a dimension, which is the order month. So I'll basically explain that to you, because that determines the kind of line chart we would show and the level of detail that we would be going into for a line chart. Okay, so the first thing we want to do for our line chart is to take the order date and put them in the columns. So I'm just going to grab order date and put it in the column here. That's the first one. And then the next one is to take sales and put it in the rows. So sales and put it in rows. So this is basically what we get, right? So that's because we're using the Tableau is always going to aggregate it, right? So now what I want you to do is we'll click on this here on the dimensions. So this is where we now look at two different aggregates, the discrete aggregate and the continuous aggregate. So when you click on the year down here, right, this first options we have here is for the discrete aggregate, right? And basically it's just going to aggregate it on a discrete level, right? So we would have just a single month, like maybe January, February, March, April, May. We would not have it split to different years or anything, right? So if I say month, right? So we're just gonna, so we had 2014, 15, 16, and 17, right? So it's just going to aggregate it for like, would have like a sum of all the Januaries would be in January, all the Februaries would be in February, right? And that's basically how it's going to be, right? When you use that discrete. But then the continuous is basically when we change it to a measure, right? And it provides us with an aggregate for each month of the year we're looking at, instead of just putting it as a discrete variable. So now if I take this and I click on month on the other one, this is basically what we get, right? So, and then remember, we wanted to create a line chart of the sales versus the order month, right? So now we can see for all the different months, right? So for March 2014, like we could see for 2014, we could see for 2015, we could see for 2016 and 2017, right? All the different months. And this now is a time series data that we're basically looking at, right? So as usual, I like to clear up and I like to clean up my chart. I like to make my chart look nice and presentable. So we're just going to start with some of those little cleaning here and there, right? So the first thing I do is come here and change this from month of order date. That just looks too much interesting, order month, right? And then I can close that. For sales, maybe I just do format and let's see, currency custom, take this to 0, display the units in thousands. So everything looks like that. Okay, so I have all my sales stuff there. Then I go here, worksheet, make it 12 and make everything black. Okay. So now the whole full November thing looks really wordy. So maybe we could abbreviate that a little bit. No. No. Hmm. Okay. Yeah, we could have it this way. Right. So April, October, yeah, and so on and so forth, right? So just have it abbreviated that way. I think that's way much better for me though. Let's see what else. So let's work on the, yeah, take out the grid lines. We don't need grid lines. And then I like my axis ruler to be black, so it's nice and clean. All right, so the other stuff is if you hover around it, right, you have those labels there, so you can see the week of order was November 26th, and we basically sold, like, we made sales of $36,000 on that day, right? Also in March 2014, we made $38,000. I think our lowest sales was in December, no, okay, February and January. Okay, yeah. So we had all these periods that we had just $0 in sales, right? So December 29th, February 16th, and January 18th, we basically had zero sales on all this period. So, all right, so that's how you create a line chart, right? Um,